Alright, here we go. This is the Ruin Maniac Cave, and this guy, of course, is the Ruin Maniac we're talking about. And as I said before, this cave is really small, but it gets a lot bigger once you start catching unknowns. When you catch 10 of them, the cave gets bigger, and when you get all 26 of them, it goes all the way to Solaceon. Remember that rare candy on the ledge I couldn't reach? That's at the exit of this cave. And now we're gonna have a little race, except it can end in no other way but a tie, because if I don't catch the unknown, he's not gonna do anything at all. So now we got the Dig TM, which is, well, I'm not planning on using it, but I guess it could be nice now that it has 80 power for in-game purposes, of course. And as I said, lots of Geodudes in this cave, and I sent Togetic out in the front to see if it could knock out a Geodude in one shot. So, yeah, Flamethrower is not very effective, but Geodude is hardly known for its special attack. It's not enough, and oh god! Bad idea! Self-destruct. How much is it gonna do? Is it gonna kill me? No, not even close, but that's still a lot of damage. Well, that rules out Togetic for this hunt. And so the search begins. Well, that didn't take too long. It's like the 5th battle I fight, and already I got a male Hippopotas. So I'm gonna send out Togetic, take down misses, not that it makes much of a difference, and of course Sandstream kicks in. And the reason why I'm sending Togetic is to use Yawn, since even though it's not my planned sleeper, it still has it, so yeah, there we go. Bite, connect, that's okay. Now I'm going to attack it with Ancient Power this turn, before it falls asleep. I'm not going to go with Flamethrower, because I think that's enough to kill it. And Ancient Power doesn't do a whole lot, thank God. I'm not going to try and attack again, mostly because I could risk having a critical, but I could also risk missing because of that sand attack. So, now it falls asleep thanks to Yawn, and let's start tossing Pokeballs at the thing. Not the Pokemon menu, the bag menu. Thank you very much. Okay, we got a few Pokeballs to toss, so don't need to get it on the first one, but it would still be cool. 1, 2, 3, yes! 1 ball! That's all it took. Then again, it's nowhere near as epic as my catches on Zapdos and Kyogre. But, in the end, 1 ball was all it took. So now that this is done, I can start breeding an Eevee to evolve into a Vaporeon, and after that, I will give it Ice Beam. I gave a Togetic Flamethrower off-screen, by the way, as you've probably noticed. So, see ya in a little bit. Okay, so now we're back in Solaceon. And, oh, it looks like I failed to center Cam Studio properly, so there might be something on the right end of the screen. Don't worry about it, it's just my mistake. So I'm going to give it the Eevee and the Hippopotas now. So, okay, now there's just one thing before I start breeding those eggs. Once you've deposited a Pokemon in the daycare for the first time, this guy appears in the building, and he's going to give you the Pokechap, which allows you to see if there are any eggs in the daycare. And it's a fairly nifty thing. It allows you to see what's in the daycare and if they laid an egg. And yeah, it's called the Daycare Checker, and that's basically all it does. It's a pretty cool Pokechap, if not for the fact that there's this huge stretch of land that's just ideal for letting the Pokemon lay eggs and to hatch those eggs as well. So, now it's time to breed ourselves some Eevees. Attempt number 5, I did the first 4 off-screen, and the results were craptacular, to say the least. All natures I really didn't want on a Vaporeon. So, let's see how this one goes. Let's cross our fingers, because yeah, I won't settle for much after waiting for all this time for decent nature. So what do we got? Quirky! This is a neutral nature. Well, that's still a lot better than what I've had so far, so I think this one's actually a keeper. And I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so now that I've got some things done, it's time for us to give the Water Stone to our Eevee to evolve it into Vaporeon. And, of course, I checked, and it came with Yawn, so that means my move passing attempt was successful, not that there was any chance of missing. If it missed, then it meant I did something wrong. And here we go. We got our Yawning Vaporeon now. And, wants to learn the move Tail Whip. Yeah, it's still at level 1, and Tail Whip is a level 1 move. I'm going to replace Helping Hand with it, because Helping Hand really doesn't do a whole lot. Tail Whip, as much as it sucks, is probably more useful than Helping Hand. And now we... It wants to learn Helping Hand again. No, I just deleted it. Don't you get the point? I don't want Helping Hand on Vaporeon. Okay, I'll be right back with an Ice Beam Vaporeon now. Okay, this gym, I really don't like it, because just look at it, there's just so much clutter everywhere. It's completely disorganized, and the puzzle, basically what you have to do, you gotta punch those punching bags onto those, I think those are supposed to be metal kegs, but they sort of look like piles of tires as well, so yeah, use your imagination on this one. Anyway, you gotta destroy these in order to be able to advance. And yeah, there are a few underlings to fight along the way as well, but there's just so much clutter. I really don't like how it's designed. It's hard to make out which is which. So, okay, there we go. Now that we destroyed the first, whatever it is, we can fight our first underling, and which gives me the opportunity to talk about what I did off screen, because I've been working on this video for several hours. Now, what I did is that before I started recording the video, the very first part of the video, that is, I went to the game corner to make myself some coins, but I got bored of that really fast, so I went for another method which is probably quicker, and wow, that Ice Beam was nowhere near enough to kill the Machoke. Well, that's what happens when you're under leveled. So, the next part of the game is going to be mostly me trying to level up that Vaporeon so it doesn't suck as much anymore. Well, at least it can take hits rather well, but in terms of attacks, well, all it has is Ice Beam and Water Gun, and there's Quick Attack as well, but it's not even worth mentioning. Anyways, most people know in this game the best way to obtain money quick is by fighting trainers with the Versus Seeker, and so far at this point in the game, the trainer that gives the most money, well, trainers, that is a couple on Route 209, which gave me about $6,000 per battle, and you should always use the Amulet Coin. By the way, this is what I did, so that's how I get $6,000. And yeah, now I'm just leaving that Vaporeon in there for it to get some experience, but I'm gonna let Togetic finish that battle off, because that low kick actually really freaking hurt, even though Vaporeon's known for being able to take Grass Knot like a champ compared to other overused Pokemon. And yeah, I mentioned Grass Knot even though low kick is of neutral effectiveness, but that's one thing Vaporeon is known for, among others, being able to take advantage of its relatively low weight and overused to its advantage. But yeah, what I was saying is that, yeah, I used the Amulet Coin, got about $6,000 per battle, and I know that the best people to do this with are the two old trainers on Route 212, but I don't have access to that place yet, so so far at this point in the game, the best place to do this was with that couple on Route 209. But yeah, I did that fight over and over and over, got lots of money, and I raised my Togetic's level significantly by doing that. And, okay, it doesn't appear that that's the way to go, so I guess I'm just gonna head back over there, and okay, now I'm a bit confused, though. No, it's not over there either. God damn it! Well, to be fair, it's one of the puzzles that they changed since Diamond and Pearl, and oh yeah, I think I got it now. But yeah, this is a puzzle that they changed since Diamond and Pearl, so I'm not as familiar with it as some others in Sinnoh. And by the way, this is the last puzzle that they changed from Diamond and Pearl. For the rest, it's going to be the same if I remember correctly. And there we go, the path to the next underling is now clear. So I can continue my exposition session. So, anyway, what I was getting at is that I gained a lot of levels with my Togetic that way, enough to learn Ancient Power, by the way, but 5 PP and 60 Power, I hardly considered that a reliable source of damage, so yeah, I just kept Ancient Power just because I can, and there's really nothing else that was worth keeping over it. So yeah, now I have both Flamethrower and Ancient Power on Togetic. And after that, once I got my Flamethrower TM, I gave it to a Togetic. And after that, I went to hunt that Hippopotas that you saw. And after that, I went back to Solaceon to breed that Eevee. It took me 5 attempts to get a nature that didn't completely suck. It was a neutral nature, but what can you do? I'm gonna deal with that neutral nature. Could have been a lot worse, honestly, and it was for those first 4 attempts. And after that was done, well, as I showed you, I evolved it, and after that, I did the exact same thing, fighting that couple over and over and over again to get that Ice Beam TM, and I got my Vaporeon up to level 27 that way. So that's why its level doesn't completely suck. Thank God. If I had to deal with a level 20 Vaporeon in this gym, I probably would be losing my mind right about now. Because right now I'm going from a Torterra in the high 40s to a Vaporeon in the high 20s. That's a big step down that I'm taking right now. And Ice Beam is going to finish off that Machoke. So with that in mind, I'm going to head back to heal. I could let Togetic handle the rest, technically, but I really want to give Vaporeon a chance to fight as well, because Togetic already has a huge level advantage over Vaporeon as well. I think there's like a 10 level difference, and if I don't let Flareon fight right now, it's going to keep falling further and further behind, and I don't want that to happen. Nope, not that way. That gym is freaking confusing with all the stuff that's all over the place. So yeah, back to the Pokemon Center we go, and I can't express the tedium of having to fight that couple over and over again into words. It really took a long time. Nonetheless, it would have taken a lot longer had I gone the game corner route and got my coins from the slots, even with the Clefairy minigame. So, honestly, in this game, there really is no reason at all to use the game corner if when you reach it there's already a better method of obtaining coins. It's probably a sign that you failed with that design. But, okay, not that I'm complaining, that there's actually a faster way than the slots to gain money, even though it's tedious as all hell. But don't get me wrong, the same thing over and over with the Clefairy is fairly tedious as well. So in a way, that would make the one in Heart Gold and Soul Silver the best, since it actually requires you to think instead of just hoping to get lucky. But of course, it comes at the downside of not being able to buy coins, which means I'm going to have to do a lot of Minesweeper Sudoku when I get to do Soul Silver, if I ever do it, that is. I don't want to confirm it until I know that I'm going to do it. But, yeah, one thing to note is that right now my Vaporeon uses Water Gun as its water move of choice. Well, not that it really has a choice, but still, I'm going to get Surf a little later on in the game. I think it's when I reach Celestic. So yeah, it's still going to take a little while. I'm going to get the Brine TM in between from Crash Awake. And right now, I don't think I'm going to use it because, to be honest, I'm not a fan of using a TM, a consumable TM on top of that, for the really short while that's going to happen between me beating Crash Awake and getting the Surf TM. Even though I have no other use for the Brine TM at all, I don't know why, but I feel like holding on to it, you know, just in case. Besides, when I reach Crash Awake, my Vaporeon's level is going to be a little more respectable, so yeah, I think it can make do with Ice Beam for the time being. Oh, and Vaporeon wants to learn Bite. Well, I'm gonna give it Bite, but only because it's an improvement over Quick Attack in every way. Sure, I lose the priority, but I get more power, a flinch chance, and the possibility of getting super effectives on that. So, there we go. Another underling down, and look at that! That next part is a mess. From what I recall, it's not that complicated, but it just looks like a real freaking mess. Okay, see, so next time, since I'm not in the mood for doing this right now, we're gonna finish this really stupid place.